if there was a way that you could save yourself years of rewriting and finally write the story of your heart? What if you could hook readers and make them keep turning those pages to find out what happens next? What if this time, when you started writing, you actually finished writing your novel? How good would that feel? What if this time you listened to that little inner nudge that's telling you to please follow your creative writing dreams and write that story, and please stop putting it off? And what if this time you finished writing a story that you're proud to pitch and publish? Writers who invest in a fiction book coach receive developmental editing feedback on their scenes as they write them. They learn how to develop three-dimensional characters. They learn how to put the setting on the page so you're not writing in a white room. They learn how to think about characters from goals, motivations and conflicts perspective. Like motivation is why the character is doing what they're doing and what drives them to go for their goal. They learn to think about what the obstacles are, the tactics of the characters that they might try, and they learn to allow the main point of view character to struggle, which is what characters should do and story is about. It's about the struggle to see whether they actually get their story goal or not. So the fiction book coach understands stories and story structure and reader expectations, and they help writers to stretch and reach their goals much faster. They help them to stretch out of their comfort zone just a little at a time, helping them to see where they can improve their writing craft, but also helping them to see where they're already doing well. Writers need to know where they're doing well because it helps you to be able to identify it in your writing. But likewise, knowing where you can improve and why it's not working will help you to become a better writer over a longer period of time. So when you're investing in your writing for your fiction book coach, it's not just for this story, it's for every other story that you're writing. Writers with a fiction book coach by their side stop dreaming about writing their story and they commit to writing it and they write it. They say goodbye to being confused by feedback that feels personal and painful to receive. They say goodbye to feeling overwhelmed by rewriting and the editing process, because they get clear on what they need to do and they're not bumbling around trying to figure it out all on their own. They feel excited to write their stories. They develop three-dimensional characters with strong story goals, very clear motivations for their characters, and conflicts that are both internal and external. They learn to create plots that work, that have foreshadowing, and that drive the action towards the climax in a rising fashion and have a resolution that works for the story. These writers become good at receiving constructive critiques because they understand why things aren't working and they learn ways to develop their writing skills whilst writing their story. And that comes from having consistent feedback on their stories from their fiction book coach. So if it's time for you to embrace your writing success, I'm Selina from empoweredwords.com.au. Why not go to my website and find out more about fiction coaching today?